All right, we'll start with the peace chant. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the all-pervading Spirit protect us. May the all-pervading Spirit nourish us. May we work together with great energy. May our study be illuminating. May love and harmony dwell amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. So we are in Katha Upanishad in a very important concept of Priya and Shreya, the good and the pleasant. And the two verses of second chapter deal with the concept of Shreya and Priya. I would say that Katha Upanishad's unique contribution is one of the unique contributions of Katha Upanishad is this concept of the Shreya and Priya. What is good and what is actually pleasant, this idea. And we are trying to break it down to understand the implication of the concepts. Okay, so yesterday in our last class we started to find out, define what is Shreya and what is Priya, right? So you definitely recall what is Priya and what is Shreya. Can anyone please? What is Priya and yeah? What is Priya?
Priya is the pleasant.
Yeah. Further,
And
further.
it may be good in the short term, but harmful in the long run.
It feels good. It feels good. It gives immediate gratification, right? And but in the long term, they may be not serving any purpose. And in the long term, it is not only that they are harmless; they could be even harmful. That is the point. That indulging in these is one may think of that yes, maybe they are not helpful, but they are not harmful either. But no, when it comes to prayer, we are talking about those satisfaction or pleasant pleasure which are binding in nature, which makes us crave for more and more. Frankly speaking, that is the criteria of life of prayer, the pleasant. And life of Shreya means a life of values, virtues, choosing the long term over the short term, all of this. The important thing we have to remember here is that Shreya is not the ultimate. Remember that, okay? To give a more broad idea, uh, there should be another term to complete the concepts. One is Preya, the pleasant, Shreya, the good, and there should be Nishreyasa. Nishreyasa means which is good ultimately. Okay. And this is a very subtle thing and very important thing for us to understand why Shreya is not the ultimate. Okay, we will spend some time in this, that even Shreya, a good life, the virtuous life, the life of dharma is not the ultimate. That also we have to understand. It's a very good in itself. In itself, it is wonderful. It is needed in the society. We should all strive to lead a life of Shreya, a dharmic life, a life of virtue, life virtues, ethical life, whatever we call it. But we have to also remember that Shreya is not the ultimate. Okay, ultimate. And this is the purpose of this today's class. Why, what is Shreya and Preya in the whole picture, in the whole picture of our growth, our human psyche, our human personality, where do they fall? Where do they fit into? If we understand this well, then a lot of confusion can be avoided, and they have greater implications for our spiritual life. Shreya and Priya. So I would like to show you a quick picture, just to as a recap of what is Shreya and what is Priya. Can you see it? Shreya and Priya are like two doors. Okay, two doors. One is door of Shreya is good, uh, for long-term growth, truth, inner peace, and it has some costs, costly thing. It does not come easily, life of Shreya, but it guarantees freedom, wisdom, and wholeness. Whereas the door of Priya, pleasant, it gives immediate gratification, which increases more and more cravings. It rewards, is rewarding as such, instant fun, and but it is also the joy that we get from life of prayer is fleeting. Fleeting means it does not stay for long. It does not have much depth in it. It is comfort, but that's it. Comfort. But in the long run, that comfort may not be um, helping us. All right. Shreya and Priya. Okay. Now, we also briefly discussed why prayer, or a Shreya, why a life of virtues is important for a spiritual aspirant. Can you recall, any one of you, some of the points why it is important to a life of Shreya, a life of virtues in spiritual life? Because why should we go for all these virtues which are problematic to practice? We are here for spirituality. Let's go directly to spirituality, right? Meditation, or rituals, or worship, or intellectual inquiry. That's what we should do. Why should we bother about all these moral virtues?
Swami, does it help cool the mind? Cool the mind?
That's nice.
Yes, cool the mind, cool the mind. That's true. And what else do you remember from the last discussion?
We cannot reach enlightenment from where we are standing now. You brought up Ramakrishna talking about the squirrel wanting to scale the wall with bricks tied to each foot. So we have some kind of
Hmm.
bricks on our feet that we have to use this life way of living to get rid of those bricks, is what I remember.
Life of Dharma, right? Yes, life of Dharma.
It is the very foundation of spiritual life. Without that, the
Hmm.
building is shaky.
Yes, that is an analogy. If we consider our whole life as a building, and spirituality is the like the penthouse, the top floor, or the master bedroom of the house, uh, basement cannot be weak. Basement, if the basement is weak, then it will give us troubles. We will see waters leaking into basement very often, and it is giving us troubles. It is the analogy. So psychologically speaking, there is such a thing called integration of personality, integration of personality, which gives stability in our life. If we think something, say something, and do something, that is violation of integrity. So our life is fragmented life. Such a life is a fragmented life. Apparently, this life would appear to be all right, fine. We know many things, virtues in our heart of heart, but we don't practice them. It may appear like this, and we may be even tempted to see in the world outside that people who are not leading virtuous life are doing fine. Even they don't have any guilt and shame. They are shamelessly enjoying, and rather we are in a difficulty. We are neither in our shoes nor in the shoes of the illumined people. We are stuck in between, that we have conscience, and the stuff in our classes, in our lectures, in our books, we always emphasize values and all of these. But look at these people, they are not following any virtues, any moral values, and apparently they are living a wonderful life. Why should we then go for moral virtues? So the thing is, those apparently looking good looking life is not good. Apparently, apparently, because at the end of the day, we have to face ourselves. We cannot escape facing ourselves. So if we believe in something, some of the virtues we believe in our heart of heart, but if we don't live up to them, there is this fragmentation of personality. Okay, there is this conflict, and when the conflict is too much, what people do, those who apparently good people, apparently happy life, to avoid this conflict, they take to substances, drugs, then other kind of substance abuses. One of the reason is this: apparently successful people, uh, are not living a virtuous life, and this conflict is really a very tough conflict. So numb the mind, they want to numb the conflict, avoid the conflict, and take to substances. That is, don't think these are very extreme. These are not too extreme. It is one of the facts. So that is why, for a spiritual seeker to have a mind which is calm and poised, this integrity of the personality is extremely important. And for integration of personality, we need to lead a life of dharma. This is the reason why a spiritual seeker try to live a life of dharma. That without that, no spiritual practice, we can be doing many spiritual practice even without, say, I do a lot of mantra japa, chanting of mantras. I sit for a long time doing puja, all of these. But you will see that Sri Ramakrishna gives a wonderful example, that there are many people, they are doing a lot of counting of mantras, but mind is here and there, and apparently they are not progressing in spiritual life. Even after many years of mantra diksha, many years of meditation practice, we don't see they are progressing at all. What is the reason? Sri Ramakrishna says that how a sheep can move. A sheep, how can it move if the anchor is still in the water? If the anchor is still on the land, so trying to do spiritual practices without trying to improve our moral life is like this. Trying to, it is almost like my one foot is on the pedal, gas pedal, but another is on the brake. Another is on the brake. So I am not making much progress. Although I am thinking I am doing a lot. The gear is on D and my foot pedal is on gas, but half of the brake is still on, or hand brake. Sometimes, some of the cars had hand brake, parking brake. And sometimes you have seen that probably unmindful, you are not mindful. So you have started driving with the handbrake on, engaged. So you are seeing that the car is not moving as fast as it should. And suddenly you recognize that the handbrake was still engaged. And then you disengage it. Similarly, if our foundation is not strong with moral virtues and we are not striving to lead up to the values, no amount of spiritual practice can take us anywhere. I mean, it will take us, but it will be not as much as it should. So that is the value of life of virtues, the good life, the dharmic life. Okay, this much we covered in our last class. The third point is the Upanishad says that both bind human beings. Shreya and Priya, pleasure and good, both approach human beings and both are binding. Both bind human beings. How do they? How the prayer, how the life of pleasure binds us? It is no brainer. Everybody knows how a life of hedonistic life, how it binds us. It is known to all of us, right? Every day we start taking something which gratifies us. After a few days, it becomes a habit, and we need it at that time. This is the classical pattern of addiction. Okay, when it goes too much into that direction, we call it addiction. But this is what actually most of the pleasure is, that we seek it again and again, and with time we need more and more of it, more of it to get the same kind of enjoyment, right? For everything, starting from real estate to bank balance to house to car, everything. It is not ever fulfilling. Always, whatever we strive to get pleasure out of it, after some time it wears out. We are in a hedonistic treadmill. We have to then go for something higher. That's how it binds us. It is known to all of us. Now the question is, even the life of Shreya, a good life, also binds. See, this Upanishad says. What do you think? Why even good life binds? How even the life of dharma binds? What do you think about it? How? How even life of goodness binds? Yes, Priti. Pritiji, go ahead.
Maharaj,
Yes.
um, I don't know if this is correct, but this is
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. Well, and a life of dharma also gives us a higher joy, I would think,
Mm-hmm.
and satisfaction,
Yeah.
and that itself can bind us, because when we are happy, we may not think of embracing spiritual life, or we may not be um, as
Mm-hmm.
mumukshu in that sense.
Yes.
Is misery will bring us out and say, okay, there's more to this, maybe.
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
I don't know. That's what
Yes. So sure. This is one of the reasons. Sure, it is one of the reasons that we get attached to even the good life and think this is all. This is all. Okay. And remember, can you relate to any other Upanishad? If you any one of you can relate this idea to any other Upanishad, it will my salutation to you. In fact, two, two Upanishads we have studied. This idea has been indirectly been told.
Ishavasu.
Which verse? Which verse?
I don't remember the verse number, but the one that says even the people who lead good lives, they go to greater darkness.
Yes, 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 absolutely. One of the mantras. But Preeti ji said that one of the if not understood properly, the Shreya, the life of dharma, life of virtues, can be also binding. Okay. Usually we equate life of virtues with spirituality, but sometimes they may not be equal. Okay. So one thing, thanks Preeti ji, she mentioned that there is a joy in leading a life of virtues, the good life, and one may get stuck there with good life itself. And as a in a society, it is really appreciative, that if more and more people live a dharmic life, the good life, yeah, sure. But considering them to be the ultimate is meaning we could not utilize our full. We were meant to have some larger experiences, larger dimension of living. We could have lived with a larger awareness, but we chose to live only with the good life. Okay, only the good life. If you Mundaka Upanishad, if you remember Mundaka Upanishad, it was said that those who do the rituals correctly, perfectly, they are definitely leading a life much better than hedonistic life, because they are trying to practice rituals and doing lot of sacrifices, all of it. But then it said, avidyayam antare vartamana sayam dhiraha panditas mannamana dannamma mara dannamma mana paryanti balaha andhenaiva yatha niyatha andheno eva niyota yatha andhaha. If I remember correctly, it said that these people who are into rituals and say the good life, they think that this is everything. And we have understood everything about life, that life is the good life. Good life is all it matters. And so they don't even strive for going beyond the ego-based limitation, ego-based personality, the limited personality that we mostly dwell in, the limited life we dwell, the life of ego, life of self-image. They don't want to go beyond that. So that is why these, even a life of virtues, are also binding. But it's a good bondage. It's a good bondage. Remember, Swami Vivekananda said that it is like a golden chain. The life of hedonism is an iron chain, life of iron chain, but life of virtues, life of dharma is also a life of golden chain. It's better chain, but albeit it also binds us. Binds us. Okay. Rick, what do you want to say?
Am I up?
Yes.
Well, I was thinking what you just said, what that Ramakrishna said, that the mechanics of both bondages are the same.
Yes.
They are both the same. The
Yes.
machine works on them the same way.
Yes.
And so then I guess what it is I guess you have to reach a point of fulfillment
Yeah.
in either one to say, no, this is not it. So you have to win, let's say, in both fields to go beyond either one.
Both fields means what? Which both fields?
One field you call the dharmic field, and one field you call the hedonist field. Okay? In either one, if you're doing the rituals, you get to a point and then you say, oh, but this is just a ritual. In the other one, you buy the Ferrari and you say, but this is just another car. So either way, you have to reach fulfillment in those fields to drop each one.
Yes, true. The only problem is, our mind is such that it will want to experience many other things, and it will not be possible to fulfill all the wishes. Okay, all the wishes. And that is the thing. Yes, Arundhati, what do you want to say?
I had kind of a question, Maharaj. So
Yes.
when even with the spiritual, on the spiritual path,
Yeah.
you're reading scriptures, understanding,
Yeah.
is the intellectual understanding
Yeah.
kind of makes you get stuck
Yeah.
to go beyond.
Yes.
So which is also a limitation or a bondage, kind of.
Yes, totally. Another reason, another way how the virtuous life binds is virtuous life sometimes work as, it may sound harsh, as ego fuel.
Mm.
Ego fuel, like I am doing charity. It is a good thing, but also inside I am also craving to be recognized, you know, as a charitable person. I think I am so superior. I am donating so much, or I am doing so much of spiritual practices. You don't do anything, any of these. So I am spiritually superior to you. I am holier than thou because I am practicing this, I am practicing that, I am speaking truth, and I am waking up so early and sitting all of these, trying to live a virtue-based life. So I am holier than thou. Okay, I am morally superior to you. And when such a feeling comes, it is extremely dangerous. Once we have this idea that I am spiritually superior, then actually there is no scope for spiritual growth. Growth is only possible only when we think there is a scope for growth. But if I think, well, I am living such a good life, what else I need, then it creates an ego. It's a helpful ego in the beginning, but ultimately that is also an ego-based life. Ego-based life. And moreover, when we start living a morality-based lives and think this is the highest, then what happens is we start judging others by the same moral values we are trying to live. Okay, and if we are very sincere about it, we would not judge others. But human beings are so, our mind is so tricky that we want to see ourselves always in a good light. Others, we don't want to see in a good light. So, even myself, I am failing in many of these values. I am not always able to live up to them, but I judge others that person is rajasic, that person is tamasic, and indirectly I am thinking I am sattvic. I am a sattvic person. I am a advanced, more advanced than all of this. This is a very subtle ego in spiritual life. This binds, and actually, you will be surprised to hear that a major reason of divisions, political divisions, in any country and even in USA is this, that both the camps, they are thinking the other camp is immoral. We are moral. It is not about anything else. It is about morality. It is a question of morality. But the point is, if you ask some fundamental moral questions, both the camps will agree to all these moral virtues. Only thing is, they are not seeing it as violation of morality. One ideology, one group of people, one camp is thinking that what the other camp is doing is violating the morality, but they are not seeing it that way. They value the morality, but they are not thinking that they are violating any morality. And that makes this division so powerful, because with morality also gives us our identity. It becomes a question of identity, not anything else. Our ideology, our morality becomes our identity, which is ultimately, remember, even this identity, which is a good identity, is also a bondage. A bondage. Any identity is bondage. Okay. So that's why we see that those who try to live, I mean, they don't understand the role of these values in the whole scope, in the entire scope of spiritual life. They end up being very attached to some ideology, very attached to a particular teacher, very attached to a particular scripture. They become extremely rigid about all of this. Initially, these were needed, okay, to some level of faith, some level of conviction in the ideology, in the teacher, in the teachings are needed, because without that, we cannot proceed even a single step. But after some time, we need to transcend all a particular teacher, attachment to a teacher, a particular ideology, a particular way of life. That also we should not be too much rigid about. Okay, too much of rigid about. This rigidity is actually a bondage, which I have seen even in advanced people. They become, suppose, for example, for a spiritual life, it is extremely important that we lead to some extent a routine based life, and a structured life where we follow a particular routine. But I have seen some people get rigid about the routine so much that routine itself is binding to them, so they are not able to go beyond my routine, my life. Okay. Sometimes it is needed to transcend from time to time when a situation demands that we go beyond these rigid identities. But if we think that share moral life is all in all the highest goal, these will be the problems. We shall remain fixated in these values and moral lives, which will make us more rigid to one ideology over other, one scripture over other, one teacher over other, and which will not be serving us well, which will not be serving us. We can in fact live a much liberated life, much fuller life, a life of much freedom, if we sometimes go beyond all of these virtues, even these so-called good things. Okay, for that it is, and we need to understand that how that even life of Shreya, a virtuous good life, can also bind. How? Three ways. One is thinking that this is the ultimate, and not knowing that we had enormous, limitless, boundless capacity to live. We have a capacity to live in an unbounded, limitless awareness. But we are getting stuck into a particular frame of mind, particular identity, a particular ego. Okay. Secondly, it can fuel also our ego. If we think this is the ultimate thing, this moral life, it can fuel our ego. Look how much charity I do. Look how much spiritual practices I do. Look, and I will try to compare myself. This is not problem in the values, problem in the virtues, problem is our human mind. Okay, I try to compare myself with others and try to see how advanced I am than others in moral life, in spiritual life. And that is the death of spiritual life. The moment I think I am holier than thou, that is the death. The moment I think I am more moral than you, death of my morality. That is the death of my morality. Okay, so and finally we become extremely rigid about these values, about the ideologies, so much so that it, instead of freeing us, it actually binds us, it limits us, it narrows down our capacity to live. Okay, narrows down, binds us down. Uh, what words I wanted to, yeah. Anyway, so all of this becomes restrict us rather than freeing us, make us. Okay, that's why even Shreya bind. Okay, we have to remember this. Then, but one who, in the verse says that every day, every day, every moment of our life, as it were, both approach us, the good and the pleasant. And those who choose the uh, good, what becomes of them? Sadhu bhavati. Sadhu bhavati. Sadhu means um, it becomes real good for them. A life based on moral principles. Life based on moral principles is a good life. A life of character, a life of strength, a life of wisdom. Those who choose what? Those who choose the long term over the short term. Those who choose values over pleasure. And in this regard, I can tell you one thing, that those who live their life more according to values, okay, those who know their values, that these are my values, and I live up to my values, they, you would be surprised that they become less people pleaser. They don't want to please people, okay, because they have found that pleasing people don't help much. Today you will be pleased, tomorrow you will not be, and you will be pleased, she will be unpleased with me. But these values, if I live by, they are far more friends, far stronger friends, these values. I live more eternal life with life of values than superficially try to be pleasing others. Okay, that is one thing. A life of character. Those who choose the values-based life over pleasure-based life, they sadhu bhavati. It becomes good for them. At the same time, we should remember that we should not get stuck only to values. Okay, and those who choose the prayer, the pleasant, the gratification, Shankaracharya says, who are those? Aduradarshi, those who are short-sighted. Short-sighted ones choose pleasant over good, right? Short-sighted one, which we call it instant gratification nowadays. Who will wait? Who will wait if it can be done right now? So, for them, such an aduradarshi, short-sighted person who choose prayer, the pleasant, what happens? They mando bhavati. It is becomes bad. And we should remember Upanishad when says life is mando bhavati, means it is not doomed. Your life is not doomed, but what? In what sense you are gone? Do you remember? In what sense your life is futile? Choosing a life of only pleasure makes our life like a waste, right? In which sense?
You miss the goal of life, spiritual.
Yeah, true. More clearly, because we have discussed this again and again. I have made recurrently discussed this point. If I give the example, probably you will understand. Do you remember the example of bookmark? Bookmark. I cited a few times. Bookmarks.
Are you saying that we don't move forward in
No,
life?
no. I said how missing life's purpose. Though choosing pleasant over good makes our life wasted. In what sense? I repeated it a few times in every Upanishad whenever I got the chance. The hint is, remember bookmarks, bookmarks, bookmarks. I gave the example of bookmarks. Can anyone think, recall?
uh, we're not using it for the purpose it's needed to be.
Yes,
for.
yes. Underutilization. Our human birth is such a precious birth that among all, we are capable of living in that unbound awareness, limitless awareness. Not all the time, but from time to time. But we are not utilizing this. We are choosing a life of pleasure. Okay. Life of pleasure, then life of values, then comes the question of life of self-transcendence. That is real spirituality, transcending our small ego. It is possible to experience a state of mind when there is no differentiated thoughts. There is no self-image. The thoughts are not self-referential, just pure awareness. Pure awareness. It is possible to live in that life without getting bound by any self-image. And that is what, if you look at, all the spiritual traditions are pointing to. Vedanta is talking too about living the life in Satchidananda. Buddhist will talk about ultimate emptiness, ultimate awareness. Okay, no thought, no mind, no mind. Buddhist will say no mind. Devotees will speak about living in God consciousness. So you have transcended your little ego and living in something bigger, God consciousness. Those who are nature mystics, they find themselves losing themselves, their small identities in the nature. Nature become mystics for them, mystical. That's the spirituality, the transcending ourselves. Okay. But all of these are missed out if we choose to live a life of pleasure, life of hedonism. Okay. Yes, Betty?
I'm just thinking of attachments,
Mm,
and in order to reach that state where you
mm.
have pure awareness, you have to sever all of those attachments.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It is possible, and the doorway is meditation. Doorway, a very wonderful doorway is meditation. Inquiry can be also. Inquiry can be. But the approach is different. Both are trying to um, open us ourselves to that infinitude, infinitude or limitlessness. One is through the path of wisdom, one is through the path of meditation. Meditation. Okay. Okay. Attachment we have to give up. Attachment also falls off. Sometimes attachment falls off automatically. We don't have to give up attachment. When we find the joy of unlimited awareness, many of our attachments falls off. We don't know how. And this is what Mundaka said. What? Granthi, that knots of the heart.
Vidyate hridayagam.
Yes, these knots of the heart, is there something mystical? These knots of the heart are these, the bondages we have, the self-image that keeps us bound, the ego that I am this, I am my role. When I over-identify myself with my role, any role, every role is actually for functional roles. Every role is functional. The role of ego is functional. Okay, so that we can perform something. If I say, Victoria, go find something for me, and Victoria at that time does not think that I am limited Victoria, then Victoria would not take responsibility for what she was supposed to do. So a strong ego is needed. I don't know whether I am diverting too much and whether it will help you or not, but in Western psychology, the stress is to make a strong ego. Strong ego means making a strong functional ego, which can take responsibility of itself, which can relate to others meaningfully, and which has a positive self-image. If my self-image about me is always shifting and insecure, am I this, am I that? That will cause lot of tension. I cannot function. Actually, that is the problems of neurotic people or psychotic people, that they don't have a stable sense of ego. So Western psychology found out means to strengthen the ego, take the responsibility of our ego. But the Eastern philosophies, and in fact, I was thinking all the religions actually started in the East. If we look at it, all the major religions started in the East. The purpose was to transcend this ego. So that we have to remember that transcending the ego first requires a healthy ego, quite a healthy ego to transcend. Okay, if I am always insecure, if I am always stressed under everything, so this ego itself is a volatile ego. What to talk about transcending it? Okay, so the life of prayer and life of shreya, life of virtues, make the ego a healthy ego, a strong ego. But again, the goal is not to over-identify ourselves. Even with this, we have to go transcend this ego-based identity, this limited identity, this role-based identity. Next point, anyone has any question about this? Yes, Mrs. Carmen.
It's not a question, but it's helpful for me when the Buddhists just say, the mind is not self, the consciousness is not
Yes,
self, the
yes,
body is not self, and that
absolutely.
helps you remember the higher self.
Yes,
So
yes,
I find that a useful tool that I have taken from the Buddhists. Just
yes,
remember not self, because we are here
yeah,
to find our higher self.
yes, yes.
That works very practical for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the quintessence of Vedanta or yoga or Buddhism is this. The quintessence of all of this is the equation is wrong. They are telling that this equation is wrong. Which equation? the usual equation that I is equal to all my thoughts. This equation is wrong. This is the quintessence of Vedanta, Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Buddha, and Buddhism all. That we are thinking that I am all about my thoughts and the contents of my thoughts. But Vedanta and Yoga and Buddhism says no. I is not equal to all my thoughts. There is even more to I. And that is, that more I is a life of freedom, a life of, unlimited existence, awareness. That is what we need to take from this verse. Okay, the next point is both the pleasure, the pleasant, and the good, they approach the human being. They approach human being. And Shankaracharya here makes an important, insightful comment. He says that both of them sometimes come up mixed together. That is, they don't come with levels. Look, I am good. I am the pleasant. I am the good. I am the pleasant. They don't come in this way. They come in a mixed way. That is, it becomes difficult for us to even understand that whether this is good or this is the pleasant. This makes the problem more difficult. For example, I can give you a very concrete example to understand this. With this, I'll stop the class. Probably it is getting too much. Okay. The example is this, how apparently good work we are thinking actually are not helping us. Okay. For example, now I have a choice now. So suppose I have some time, half an hour free in my slot. Now I have two options, like I can read a very insightful book, a enriching book, or I can watch cable news. Okay. Now, definitely, reading an enriching book is shreya over watching news. But you will find that our mind will give this type of arguments, that we need to be aware of the facts that is happening to be an informed citizen. As an informed citizen, I should be aware of what is happening where. This is the logic your mind will give you. That is, scroll some more reels. If you are watching on Instagram, scroll some more reels. If you are in WhatsApp, then watch more and more outrageous short clips. Outrageous. These are mostly outrageous clips. And also watch those news which will make you outrageous. Outrageous. You would not choose the change the channel, although all that channel is feeding you outrageous materials, and you are thinking, no, I should be aware of all of this. Okay, so we are actually, this is totally wrong. Okay, because as I say to people, remain informed but don't get caught into the drama. Remain totally informed. As a citizen, we should be always informed about what is happening around, but keep away from the drama because we're already so much into dramas, and these news channels, these these reels, all of them are trying to pull us into their drama, which is a concocted drama, not even a real drama. If you look at it, that how many things we found outrageous in the last month, and afterwards what happened with those, we saw most of them did not pass through, did not happen, did not play out, but we are still worried all the time. So basically we are loving to be anxious, loving to be outrageous, we are giving it a name that it is called informed citizenship. Okay, so Shreya and Priya comes in a mixed way. Mixed way. We are unable to easily distinguish which is actually good and which is appearing to be good. Okay, who can do it out of this mixed, mixed bag, good and bad? Who can really do it? Shankaracharya says a wise person, like a swan. For us, it is difficult to distinguish separate the milk from the water. In a mixture of milk and water, we cannot separate what is milk and what is water. But proverbially, a swan, a great swan, can do it. They can, out of the mixture, they can take only the milk. Okay. A dhiraha, in the verse it is says, both of these, the good and the pleasant, both approach us together. And the problem is we are sometimes unable to distinguish which is actually good and which is appearing to be good. They don't come with clear cut labels. This is veg, this is non-veg. If it is mixed up, you don't know. Then the trouble will be which is veg and which is non-veg. So here is the problem. So how do they do it? In the next verse they say that both of them approach us, but wise persons, what do? They can separate them and choose them. So how do they do it? We shall take up in our next class. Okay, I'm sorry I'm taking too much to cover these two verses, but I think these are very basics, foundation of sound sound understanding of spiritual life. Okay, that's why I am spending so much of time in the concept of Preya and Shreya, because I feel that most of the times they are kind of glossed over. The nuances of likes and dislikes, nuances of pleasure and good are not discussed enough. And we think we understand what is good and what is pleasure, and but the confusion remains. Confusion remains. So I think we should slowly try to absorb all the implications of these two verses. Okay. Who wanted to ask question? Did I see a raised one?
Hi, Swami.
Yes.
I just wanted to say in the 12-step movement, they're starting to teach people about our internal chemicals. Like, in other words, if a person takes a shot of heroin, they get this feeling in their body that makes them feel high and excited.
Yes.
But within our own bodies, there's four chemicals. There's melatonin, adrenaline, cortisol, and dopamine. And, like I might be more drawn to, let's say, adrenaline or cortisol, whereas a person that's sort of going more towards the depressive side might want to go towards, let's say, melatonin.
Yes.
And so if I'm in a situation like that and I start feeling like, let's say I'm watching news feeds and I start feeling this sense of kind of excitement, like I can feel excited.
Yeah.
Know that I'm getting what they call hooked.
Yeah.
Situation. And so I know that that's if I'm aware enough about it and I decide that I want to make a change, I pay attention and say, okay, I'm already starting to feel hooked by this. I need to turn it off and move away from it and calm down and go meditate or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a powerful way of looking at it. Internal chemicals, they are also they are actually the reason we get hooked. They are the reason we get hooked. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, Maya. Unmute. Yeah, please unmute yourself first. Yeah.
I just wanted to respond when you said, I'm sorry I took so long with these 2 verses,
Yeah.
but it wasn't too long. They're really complex
Yeah.
and subtle verses
Yes.
and subtle ideas, subtle concepts
Yes. Yes.
that we are all enmeshed in every day.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Not
Thank
too
you.
long.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Subhash?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring one more point that we know sometimes what is good, what is pleasant, but we
Yes.
still fall into the trap
Yeah.
of pleasant. Just
Yeah.
Arjuna asked that question, why
Yeah.
people do,
Yes.
even is it by
I will
force?
answer. I will answer to it. I will reserve the answer for the last part of the talk. The secret of living a life of virtues, life of virtues, a good life. There is a secret to it. Okay, a secret to it, and which is counterintuitive. Okay, and do you want me to give it out? Little bit of it right now?
Yes.
Yes, it's counterintuitive. So these people who live a life of values, in psychology they are called uh, consciences, right? Consciences, right?
Conscientious.
Consciences, right? Absolutely. I always get trouble with this pronoun. Consciences people. So paradoxically, consciences people avoid such situations where they have to face such a dilemma. Should I go or not? For example, um, you go to a party and it was supposed to end at 10, and but you are liking the party and it is going beyond 10, 10:30, and 11. So you are now in a dilemma that should I keep on enjoying the party or go back, sleep early, wake up early, do my morning yoga, my morning meditation. So it becomes difficult for you to choose at that time. You know that it will be good if I go back, but at the same time this feels so good, and your mind will now manufacture arguments that once in a while it is okay to change all of this, and once in a while it is okay to do things people do in party, and next day you will again regret what I did. They found that people who are self-controlled, conscientious people, they avoid such situation. They would not go to a party which can go beyond 10. They, paradoxically, it is called a paradox of self-control. Self-control people actually don't exercise so much of self-control. They avoid such situations where there will be a dilemma, there will be a conflict. They avoid all of this. So the psychologist who wrote this paper in Scientific American, they said these are the people who are called the cold blanket of the party, right? No, I have to go back. It is 8. And they are not the heart of the party, but these are the people you can count on when you are in need, because these are
It's wet blanket. Wet blanket.
wet blanket.
Wet
Yes,
blanket.
yes, yes, wet blanket.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that is the secret. One of the things, one of the ways of living a dharmic life is to avoid temptations where I have to exercise my self will or self control, because I have seen myself that most of the times I cannot in such situations. Then I will then avoid such situation altogether. Okay, this is one secret. Okay, other two secrets I will share in a next class, because that will be the culmination of the discussion, how to live a virtuous life. Because ultimately essence of these two verses is try to lead a virtuous life, right? This is the essence of the two verses. So that will be the culmination of the discussion.
Maharaj, can you also discuss how do you transcend even the Shreyas?
Yes, of course. All that we are reading and studying, practicing, all are to transcend even a Shreya-based life. Okay, all of this. All right then. Any comment, question would like to, or any clarity so far needed? Yes, Rick.
You know, it occurs to me that if Dharma, if you live the Dharma, if I understand it, that's the field of experience and opportunity to experience. And if you don't, if you follow Dharma, to not go to the party is not to follow Dharma. If you go to the party, experience it, and then leave, that's closer to Dharma than to not go to the party. When Krishna tells Arjuna, rise and fight, he's not telling everybody to fight, but there's an instance when the fight is required.
Right.
And it, you know, there is the Buddhist, I think it was Buddhist, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Where somebody asked a Buddhist guy about the difference between, I'm going to put it in terms I think are correct now, to live the transcendent life or to live the dharmic life. How does experience change? And the saying goes, before transcendence, you chop wood and fetch water.
Yes, yes.
After transcendence, you chop wood and fetch water. Because the needs of life don't change.
Yes.
It's just the party that you attend changes. That's all.
Yeah, I appreciate your view. I appreciate your understanding. But the point I was trying to make is, if every time you go to party and every time you have this dilemma to stay over whole night or overstay the party and miss next day's important things, if it occurs recurrently, then it's better not to avoid such situations. So that the thing is, reason is this, that we think we have unlimited self-control, but it is not. What we call as self-control is nothing but a kind of energy. It's a pure mental energy produced out of brain. Okay, self-control. That's why when you are deprived of food and water and rest, you cannot control yourself. Why? You don't have energy left to control yourself, restrain your voice, restrain your thoughts, restrain your behaviors, because that energy is no more there. So they found that people who are conscientious people, they preserve their self-control and willpower for real fights, not in a daily kinds of dilemmas that we, whether to wake up or to sleep, or sleep something more. These type of things, they don't spend much their willpower on. Okay, they still need to use their willpower, self-control in other matters, but they keep them available for matters which are non-regular, which are one of a time, which may come up from somewhere we don't know. Okay. So Rick, I appreciate your viewpoint, but this viewpoint is also has some points in it. All right. Then next day we shall continue. 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 more, 4 more points. 4 more points about Shreya and Priya. Okay. Then we shall go to the next verse. Next Friday is 15th August. Okay. 15th August we shall meet again. So until we meet again, have a nice week. And next Saturday is our Janmashtami. Those who want to attend next, that is 16th August, you are welcome to attend. And those who want to attend Swami Sarvapriyananda's retreat, let me remind you that registration is must, and registration will open on 15th August at 7 a.m. Okay. And once the registration is closed, we would not entertain any request. Okay. So please go, those who want to attend Swami Sarvapriyananda's talk on 1st September, please register yourself on 15th August in the morning itself. Okay. All right. Let's say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And yeah. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.